exactly what you want to see. Let's run this puppy in. Score a touchdown and tie this game. Life, run for your life, touchdown on one play. Worked on this in practice. Touchdown. It's up to Kelvin Benjamin. This is all you, buddy. Kelvin Benjamin for a touchdown. Oh, he toasted his man. Holmes toasted his man. Spin move. Oh! Oh! What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here in the World of Juice channel. Welcome back to the post game. Welcome back to the post game for the Ohio State and Maryland game that happened yesterday. Big time W for the Buckeyes, as predicted by literally everyone. Literally everyone would have guessed that the Buckeyes are going to win this game. Now, the score definitely was a little bit more shocking to me, only because I wasn't sure how this offense would work. Maryland's defense is kind of good, so they didn't play like that yesterday, but they're kind of good. So I kind of lowballed the score a little bit. Obviously, it was inflated. The final score was Buckeyes 66, Maryland 17. So big time blowout for this Buckeye team, and they look good. This is another confidence builder for the Buckeyes, which is extremely important as we get closer and closer to the games that really matter, which is Penn State, which is Michigan, and Michigan State. I think they play Michigan State this year, I'm pretty sure. So the big time matchups later in the season. Now, next week, there's not a game, so the confidence can be boosted even more as we get further into this season. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's get into the game. 66 points put up by this Buckeye offense and Buckeye defense, to be fair. There was a pick six in there. So, CJ Stroud, phenomenal performance again. That's back-to-back weeks where CJ Stroud has had his two best games. And it's coming at very crucial times in the season, because early in the season, we were kind of worried, wondering, is CJ Stroud the guy? Did Ryan Day pick the right guy? And he kind of struggled. He showed moments. He showed signs that he was going to be a stud. But he was struggling, didn't play very well in that Oregon game, kind of struggled against Minnesota, struggled against even Tulsa and stuff. So, I mean, there was some worry that he might not be the guy, but then he sat out that week against Akron, got healthy. That shoulder must have been a big problem for him, because he got healthy. That shoulder looks really good now, and he's rarely missing open receivers anymore. I don't know if that's a mental thing that he's gotten figured out over these past couple of weeks, or if it's the shoulder that was really just throwing him off and making his timing wrong and pushing that ball a little bit too much in the air. So I don't know what the problem was, but I'm glad that he figured it out, because he is lights out right now. He is rarely missing targets at this point. He had a couple missed throws in this game against Maryland, but that was a little bit due to pressure. He was getting some pressure in his face, a couple of those throws. The corners were kind of playing a little bit softer, but still tight coverage on the receivers. And it helps when you have three of the best wide receivers in all of the country. I mean, this wide receiver core is the best in the country. You cannot argue it. Alabama has a great receiving core. Georgia, good receiving core. Oklahoma, good receiving core. This Ohio State team has the best wide receivers in the entire country. You cannot argue that. And CJ Stroud is finally hitting his targets. He had 406 yards passing. He had 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he was out in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, CJ looks really good. I'm very excited to see how he grows and how he develops during this next half of the season, because at this point, he's looking like the star. He's looking like a stud. He's looking like the number one quarterback, and Ryan Day made a good choice. I was a little bit worried, like I said at the beginning, but he has plowed through. He has figured something out, and he is hitting his targets. Back-to-back games with 5 touchdown passes. So CJ's definitely figuring something out. Now, as for Travion Henderson, he still managed to get 100-plus yards on the ground, which is phenomenal, because this Maryland defense was stopping the run. Like, nobody could run. Master Teague was struggling. Henderson was struggling. Everybody couldn't really get off the line and run the football, because Maryland's defense was doing that well. So what did CJ Stroud do? He threw it to Travion Henderson. 2 big receiving touchdowns. Travion Henderson's just a stud. He is a literal stud. He has Heisman written all over him. Now, I'm not saying he's going to win it this year, but he definitely should be at least in the conversation. Him and CJ, if they keep progressing, that 1-2 punch is definitely going to have Heisman conversation around them. Now, they're probably not going to be invited to the ceremony this year, but next year, if you get that hype built up for TreVeyon Henderson entering his sophomore season, TreVeyon could be taking home that hardware in December, whenever they give it out, January, something like that. So we've got potential for some Heisman contenders here on this team, and TreVeyon Henderson is just a dog. He is a literal animal when it comes to playing football, man. He is a dominant pass catcher. He is a dominant runner. He has the most explosive cuts I've seen in a long time. I have not seen a running back. J.K. Dobbins didn't even have these elite level cut moves that TreVeyon Henderson does. And J.K. Dobbins had fantastic cuts. He made people miss like crazy. He made people look like children out there. And TreVeyon Henderson does even more than that. He's crazy good. And he's just a freshman. He should be in high school. But this kid is amazing. He didn't even play his last year of high school because of the pandemic and stuff. So TreVeyon Henderson is a demon right now for this Buckeye team, and they need him because he's giving them even more confidence to be able to pass the ball, giving CJ even more confidence to throw that football to Chris Olave, who's a stud, to Garrett Wilson, who's a stud, to Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's a stud. All these guys, Emeka Egbuka, a stud. This wide receiver room is unbelievable. Chris Olave is probably the best of the bunch, which is saying something because Garrett Wilson's right up there. But Chris Olave made a catch in the end zone that no wide receiver should catch, and yet Chris Olave did it. I have been on this channel saying many times that Chris Olave is the best route runner I have seen in the past 10 years. Not just at Ohio State, but in college football. And he's also probably top 3 best hands in the past 10 years in college football. He's such a good receiver. He is a top pick in the draft. He's a top 10 pick in the draft. He's a top 3 pick in the draft. He's a number 1 pick in the draft. Chris Olave is that guy. He's just that guy. He's amazing. Garrett Wilson, just as good. Maybe even better. Because he's got another year after Chris Olave. Unless he could, I guess he could leave this year along with Chris Olave, but I think he does have the opportunity to stay another year if he wants to. So the wide receiver room, amazing. The offense has been cooking the past couple of weeks, and I'm excited to see what happens going forward. But let's talk about this defense a little bit. The defense for the Buckeyes did look to struggle on that opening drive, and there's a little bit of a theme building here with this Ryan Day defense that early in the games, at least the first drive or two, the defense kind of starts out slow. They kind of try and feel out the opposing offense, try to see what they're going to do, and then they start to build it up and they start to ramp up, play better, get pressure on the quarterback, deflect passes away, get sacks, get fumbles, interceptions, all that good stuff. So Maryland starts out the game with a 3-0 lead because they were moving up the field on this Buckeye defense. But then, like I said, this Buckeye defense started to crack down and actually play good football on defense. And of course, this front seven is amazing, especially that defensive line. I mean, Haskell Garrett, who went out with an injury, I hope he's doing good. I haven't seen any reports on if Haskell Garrett's doing okay or not, but he's amazing. Jean-Baptiste is amazing. The 2 freshmen, JTT and Jack Sawyer, are amazing. All these guys are amazing. Zach Harrison, amazing players on this team, and they all are potential draft picks in the first round, second round, maybe even top picks, top first round picks. So the defensive line is finally getting pressure. They needed that confidence of Akron where they got 6 or 7 sacks or something like that in the game against Akron, and then they build upon that against Rutgers, and now they build even more against Maryland. So now they get the bye week. Now they get to rest up, recuperate, build that confidence, keep that confidence, and get ready to play Indiana, because I don't see how this Buckeye team loses another game unless it's a crazy one against a Penn State or against a Michigan. I don't think there's another team in this conference that equals the talent except for those 2 teams. And I still don't think those 2 teams equal the talent, but they're closer a lot. They're in a lot better situation than Indiana or Nebraska. Nebraska's garbage. They're in a better situation than Purdue or anything like that. So Indiana in a couple weeks. What I'm gonna do for the the thing next week, I'm probably going to do a Patriots pregame on Saturday instead to replace replace the video from yesterday, because obviously the Buckeyes are on a bye week, so I have nothing to talk about. So I'll probably do a Patriots, unless the Patriots on a bye week too. That might be bad. I don't think they are though. They might be. I'll have to check that. But I'm probably going to do a Patriots pregame on Saturday, getting ready for the game on Sunday. So look out for that. But Buckeyes win big against Maryland, 66-17. Chris Olave, 2 receiving touchdowns. Trayvon Henderson, 2 receiving touchdowns. CJ Stroud, 5 passing touchdowns. So amazing, amazing day for this Buckeye team. Great confidence builder. I'm excited to see how they play going forward. And they're finally looking like the Buckeye team that we always expected them to be, and then we expected them to be at the start of the season. So I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, smash that like button, hit notification bell, and the subscription button as well. Join the Juice Club, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.